Welcome to Bonnyton Golf Club. Originally founded in 1922, it has existed in its present form since 1957. The course was designed by Alistair Mackenzie. As all great golf fans will know, Mackenzie is the architect of the world-famous Augusta National Course, home of the first major of the year, the Masters. Signs of Alistair Mackenzie's design traits can be seen as you play the course. Bonnyton is not a long course, but as you continue to watch this presentation, you'll see that accurate tee shots are always essential. Length is always an advantage, but a good short game will be a benefit. I really hope you'll enjoy your experience on our course. So let's go, and we'll have a look. Hole 1, Moor Yett, par 4, 331 yards. Whether you play from the Tiger tee or the ordinary tee, an accurate tee shot is required. Longer hitters should use an iron to play short of the humps in the middle of the fairway. Then, we're on to a challenging approach to a rather narrow green front to back. Best to take a club more than you think, as it's all uphill. Hole number 2, Tinto, par 4, 375 yards. A tee shot drifting right can catch the burn. Anything left is sure to see you restricted by a tree. Position your tee shot below the hill, middle to left of centre. Approach shot to a plateau green with bunkers positioned on the left-hand side. And be sure to take enough club, as anything coming up front left of the green may well come back down the slope, leaving a difficult pitch back up the green. Hole 3, Craw. It's a par 4, 297 yards. It's a fairly short hole, but with a severe two-tier green, requiring an accurate distance control approach to ensure yourself a birdie opportunity. Best drive is left of centre, avoiding the fairway bunker. Hole number 4, Craw, Stane, par 3, 145 yards. It's a well-bunkered short par 3 with a ridge running up into the middle of the green. Make sure you're on the correct side of the ridge, or you face a difficult putt. The green slopes from back to front, and if behind the pin, you'll leave yourself a very, very fast putt indeed. Hole number 5, Road Hole. It's a par 5, 533 yards. The road hole, as it says, tells you the out of bounds runs all the way down the left-hand side of this par 5. Your drive should be on line with the marker pole or even slightly right of this. The longer hitter can go for the green with their second shot, or, for most, a sensible layup short of the double bunkers leaves just a 100-yard approach shot to a very long green. If you miss to the right, you face a very difficult up and down from a rather steep hollow. Hole 6, The Dyke, par 5, 489 yards. It's another par 5. Straight away, best to keep to the right half of the fairway, as a long drive can be blocked out up the left by an outcrop of trees. We're approaching a generous green with some strong breaks. With a bunker on the left-hand side of the green, it'll catch any pulled approach shots, and a large bunker front right will catch any wayward approach. Hole 7, Langcraig's, par 4, 390 yards. One of the best driving holes on the course. Accuracy is at a premium though. Any drive down the left will normally result in you being blocked out from sight of the green, and a drive leaking right will normally run into the trees, which run for 280 yards. A hidden ditch guards the approach to this small green approximately 15 yards before the putting surface. Hole 8, Welloweary, par 4, 402 yards. Stroke index 1, a long 2 hits up the hill to an elevated green which is well bunkered front left and right. The short line is up the left of the tee, but you may find yourself in some semi-rough. Too far out of the tee, and your line of sight will actually be blocked by some large trees. A 4 is always a very, very good score here. Hole 9, Lindsay Law, par 3, 161 yards. A well laid out par 3 with a ditch in the hollow 20 yards before the green to catch that miss-hit. It's a well bunkered green which runs some 30 yards front to back, and good club selection is vital. Hole 10, Ben Lomond, par 5, 503 yards. Some of the very best views on the course welcome you as you walk down this majestic par 5. The drive requires you to keep to the left of centre to avoid running into the thick rough to the right. Your second shot requires you to avoid 2 well-positioned bunkers which gather up any straying shot that might go to the right. The reality is, it's all in front of you. It's all there for you to see. Hole 11, Scots Tourie, par 4, 384 yards. A tricky dog leg requires either a sensible drive towards the marker pole, or the long hitters can try and cut the corner to gain those extra few yards. However, you'll find yourself in some semi-rough should you take this route. The approach requires good selection into this long green, which again has well-positioned bunkers both sides. Too long, and there's a steep drop right behind the green. Hole 12, Punch Bowl, par 3, 161 yards. A testing par 3 with 2 halves to this green, the bowl to the left with a steep bank at the back and the raised section to the right. You must be on the right side of the green with your tee shot. 3 large bunkers are there to catch your shots and also to the right. Hole 13, the Tofts, par 4, 330 yards. A short par 4 from a raised tee. If the wind's behind you, you can go for glory and try to drive this small, well-protected green. If not possible, a straight drive into the middle of the fairway leaves an approach shot requiring a good touch to hold the green. Hole 14, Auld, par 3, 174 yards. One of the toughest par 3s you'll ever play. An uphill tee shot to a long and very narrow green with a steep slope off to the right. If the pin is on the bottom, it can play harder, even though it is 2 clubs less than if the pin was on the back. You know, a 3 can often feel like a birdie sometimes. Hole 15, the Riggs, par 4, 346 yards. A downhill par 4, short but with well-positioned fairway bunkers both left and right. If you're able to hit a full 220 yards, best then to hit your drive to the right of centre. The approach is to a well-guarded green, which is probably the smallest on the course. A hole you think you should be picking up a birdie, but so often you can walk off with a 5, sometimes maybe more. Hole 16, Ballagioch, par 5, 477 yards. A testing par 5 that offers lots of different options. A large lake is not visible from the tee, approximately 240 yards up the fairway. A drive heading towards the left-hand marker pole will more often than not run into the lake. The gap between the lake and the start of the burn on the right-hand side is only about 25 yards wide. Another burn lies 60 yards short of an elevated green ready to catch that miss-hit second. The green again is in 2 halves and is not the deepest green you will ever hit to. Anything coming up short will suffer a long run-off back down the slope, resulting in a very difficult pitch. Hole 17, Kirkton Moor, par 4, 367 yards. A super par 4 with 2 options off the tee depending on the wind. A wide ditch runs across this fairway, approximately 230 yards off the tee. If in doubt, lay up short. The approach shot requires accuracy and good clubbing. Avoid the large bunker on the left-hand side that cuts into the green, and a well-judged approach will be rewarded with a good birdie opportunity as the balls are gathered towards the hole from left to right. Hole 18. At last we're hame. Par 4, 366 yards. A blind 18th means there is no rest on this short but testing course. Short line off the tee is left of centre. You will end up in the semi-rough, but it's not too thick. Anything to the right will either stay on the slope, leaving you a difficult stance with the ball above your feet, or it will run down into the semi-rough. The approach will be blind unless you have driven the ball 280 yards. Once you're there, pick a tree behind the green and aim for that. Keep to the right of centre of the green as everything runs off to the left with waiting bunkers. So that's the end of our 18 holes. Next up, the 19th. I'll see you at the bar.